On this week's episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we do a gravy review, we talk some Dear Mojo, and we have our special guest, Sketch, from Houston to talk about Christian rap. All that and more on this week's episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Knuckles studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, of course. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always, but before we begin, I have to introduce the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I am talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's honorable mentioned Fortnite Champion of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one, it's Mojo! Hey, buddy.
What's going on, everyone?
How you doing?
Yeah, it's another time, right? Thanks for tuning in once again. This is the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You can find us on the website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can find us on Instagram at SFP Radio. Go to youtube.com/SFP Radio. Also, where we mostly interact is our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy. Please go to Google Play, iTunes, or Stitcher. Subscribe, give us a like, a review. A review would be great. Share your favorite episodes. And we also have a Patreon link. If you like the value of the program, please donate $1 or $2 or $50 or $1 million.
This is a bad deal, but I'm going to pay you $1 if you'll just subscribe for like 99 cents.
There you go. So what is that link again?
Patreon.com/SFP Radio. And you can find that link on our website, as Mojo mentioned, southernfriedphilosophy.com. So there it is. I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. Mojo, how you be doing?
When anybody tells me that the government is always the answer, I would like to redirect them to the Concord downtown and the roads.
Oh, wow.
The repaving of the roads.
Good gosh.
How long has
Y'all.
how long has this repaving of the road situation been going on?
It's been a solid 3 months. I mean,
Okay.
It has to have been at least 3 months.
Now, I've driven vast stretches of highway that have been repaved. Like I'm talking about 50 miles of two-lane roads that have been repaved. Downtown Concord has had this road reconstruction now for 3 months. It's just like one road.
just
Granted,
one.
It's probably 3 miles long.
Maybe on a good day.
The latest
downhill.
update, because I remember I came by and gave your adopted mother a motorcycle ride, and I was kind of a little shifty on that one just because the roads were so grooved and potholed.
At
and stuff
that
like that
point, it's been like 2 months. It was grooved.
Yeah, but they came and ripped all the asphalt up.
Yeah.
So now they actually laid the new asphalt, but we had no lines, and which is okay because
at least it's better.
But instead of going ahead and laying the whole lines, they laid temporary lines now. I guess because obviously, we may have somebody that comes from Europe that drives on the wrong side of the road.
Sure.
So we'll need those temporary lines. But yeah, so that's just man, the downtown Concord government. They got to get their act together.
I'm going to need you just to spray paint some lines. We can go down to Charlotte, get some graffiti artists.
Right.
Just spray paint a line, and they could just enjoy that. I mean, we could have cool-looking arrows and things like that. I mean,
I'm pretty sure the private market probably could have already relined the road by now. Or how long has those temporary lines been down? 2 weeks?
At least a month. Yeah, it's been rough. I mean,
this is crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, at least it's not all potholed up.
That is true.
But give it a couple months, I'm sure the asphalt will be raking
One winter and it's over.
Yeah. Because due to budget cuts, they probably had to put an extra quarter-inch less of asphalt down. So they'll probably the asphalt will be coming up by the time the winter hits. So, how you be doing?
I'm good. Can I vent for a little bit?
Oh, please.
I've got a couple of things.
I feel like I'm the only one who whines.
Well, here's the thing. So, dogs. Can we talk about...
Do we need some background music?
I am so sick of those dogs. They're everywhere. I mean, we went to Camp North Lake something. I mean, it's a really cool spot. And by the way, Sketch is here with us. So
hello.
He's going to be joining the whole show. But we went to it's a place downtown, Charlotte, and renovating the whole thing. It's like a 1920s like Model T Ford plant.
Yeah, that turned into a munitions factory, I think, and stuff. So.
Yeah, so they called it camp. It was Charlotte Ammunition and Missile Plant, so they called it camp. But 72 acres, thing's massive. But we went to go have some beers, enjoy another podcast, the R&D and the QC podcast. It was a cool experience. But y'all, everybody was taking their dogs everywhere, like with the beer, with the food, inside the podcast area. At one point, the dog started barking, and they were,
interrupted the podcast.
Interrupted. So. Like, why do you feel like you have to take your dog everywhere? Like, y'all, you gotta.
And we've devolved as a human race to where we now carry their crap around in a bag.
Yeah,
right.
Until we find a place to dispose it.
If aliens were to come down and look at us, they would think that the dogs are the owners and we're the pets because we're picking up their poop.
Right. There's a new special on Netflix. The guy who overthinks things, I can't remember his name or his stick, but part of his is like, I bet the dog is like, no, leave that there. You don't want to pick that up.
That's gross.
What is wrong with you?
But he also said, the comedian said, you cannot. It's not like you can go around carrying. If you don't have a dog and you're carrying a bag of crap around, you look funny. But of course, if you have a dog, it's totally acceptable to carry a bag of crap.
Sure.
So
yeah, I think we have even a poop story coming up. But the other thing that burns my biscuits is men that wear white pants. Even on my wife said, even on the golf course, and I said yes, even on the golf course, men that wear white pants just. I don't know. It sets me unease.
Or men's capris, white capris.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like just for humanity, I need to punch them in the face. But that's probably a little rough.
Well, you have Antifa that wants to punch a Nazi in the face. We need
Who?
to start Antifa.
Oh, Antifa.
Antifa.
Punch Nazis in the face.
Yeah, so we can go just start around punching people with white pants in the face.
What are your thoughts on white pants, Sketch? I need to know this.
They're okay. I'm curious as to what your fear is, or what.
I don't know.
Stains.
It's probably because you went to a spaghetti dinner at church and he had his white pants on.
This is a true story. My senior prom, I finally got a date, and it was a complete sympathy date. So I understand. But we went to Smart Choice, the Olive Garden, because back then that's where you went. That was high.
That's where winners
class
went.
There.
Yeah.
An idiot decides to order spaghetti, and then just on the front of the tux, just everywhere down the front. And the picture that we had to take, she had to cover that up with her hand, and the whole night I'm just like pizza stain right here, Chief. Like, oh my gosh!
And pizza or red sauce is the worst because
you can't get it off of tux.
The more you touch it, the deeper it spreads, and
it looked like I got shot by a howitzer at that point, trying to rub it all off and everything. It was rough. But I don't know. The white pants just... Yeah.
I don't own any white pants, to be clear.
Don't. Yeah.
So, I don't own many pairs of pants, so white's not in that. So.
And the other thing, like when you're eating stuff, you wipe stuff on your jeans, so like the white pants, you can't do it on that.
Yeah.
I don't know, y'all. It just sets me unease.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I've noticed that trend is starting to pick up in guys. A lot of guys, especially younger guys.
Yes.
I shouldn't say.
Oh yeah,
guys are our
we couldn't
age.
pull it off.
No, but, I've seen a lot of that, and also guys who wear like red pants or teal pants, or
just the Easter basket color.
Yeah,
you know what?
Jelly bean jeans. So.
Well, the circle culture that I kind of run with, you'd be laughed at. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of frowned upon in our community that I predominantly around every day. But
so bikers are not going out and buying these teal capris.
No, they'll ride a teal colored motorcycle,
which is awesome. Yeah.
But they'll wear some assless chaps.
I don't know which worse now.
Before white jeans. So anytime I see white pants, it always reminds me of like a painter. Because you go to Sherwin-Williams or something, the paint department, they always have the all white on, which never makes sense to me. Why would they wear
it seems like an odd choice for
a
profession where you're going to be throwing paint.
Yeah, I've never quite gathered that.
Unless you're just painting like an all-white building. Then that's going to make sense.
Well, but the all-white, though, you're like, I can understand, like, if they keeping it, if they have all white on to see, okay, well, I'm painting this room brown. Okay, I've got some on me, so it must be on the floor somewhere.
Oh,
but
okay.
if you're painting an all stark white room and you're wearing all white, you're not going to be able to notice that. I wouldn't think. So
I don't know. I just saw a couple guys wearing it, and I was just like, I don't know. It just.
And they probably had a pocket Chihuahua too, didn't they?
No, I mean he had a blue shirt, a dark blue shirt with the inside of the collar was red. I felt like at any point we're going to go like on the sailboat, so I couldn't figure that out.
We're in course, just in case you're geographically concerned where we are. We're in the middle of the state of North Carolina. We're not anywhere near.
We're landlocked, my friend.
We're not anywhere near water. I mean, there's some lakes, but how many people are like, hey, let's go to let's go catamaran down at the lake, in our white pants with boat shoes on.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well. There's that. Yeah. A couple of business things that I want to bring up. I want to say shout out to some of our listeners. We got some new listeners in New York and Brooklyn. Shout out to New York. And then also, too, if you ever wanted to stop by and check us out at the Busted Knuckle Studio, just shoot us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com, and you yourself could be sitting here in the Busted Knuckle Studio in the Bad Mother Smokers smoking hot seat, which is right over there. Do you see that?
I see it.
You like that?
Nice.
I mean, that'd be a nice spot to sit.
Well, they're not actually smoking.
No. And they're not covered in the smoking sauce, so there's that
Thank
piece.
God.
But anyway, so if you ever want to come check us out, please do shoot us an email at SFP Radio. And now we're on to some wacky news.
Ooh, baby, it's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. Every time I look around, every time I look around, it's in my face.
So this article had me at hello. The Lincoln man was attacked a girlfriend with bacon, arrested for assault, a violation of release. Stephen Bussier, 49, of Lincoln, called the Lincoln police and reported that he did not attend his court hearing because he didn't feel well. Then, not long after that, the police had to arrive at his residence because he was attacking his girlfriend with a full packet of bacon and the pan. They did a sobriety check, and it was 3 times the legal limit. He was slapping her across the face and forehead with uncooked bacon, laughing at her and taunting her, he said. Needless to say, he was arrested, and boy, he does not look like he's doing well. Actually, the picture of him looks like there's an actor that comes to mind when I look at his picture. Do you guys have any idea of what he
Well, I mean, he looks like several people could actually look
Scott
like.
Bakula?
Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
That's what I was going with.
Is that a quantum leap? He jumped back into the...
He looks like Henry Rollins after a bender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you on that one. But, I mean, hey.
Yeah, Scott Bakula does.
If you were going to attack somebody, bacon is the way to go.
Can you cook it first? It might break off, and I might get to enjoy a little bit of it.
There you go.
So,
That's a waste of perfectly good bacon.
In fact, I will ask my wife tonight if she'll cook the bacon and slap me across the face with it just for fun.
yeah.
I think that's one of the numbers in 50 Shades of Grey.
It's 57 and a half.
57.
I mean, gosh, I love bacon.
I do too.
I love bacon. All right, did you have one?
This falls definitely under wacky. Pregnancy is more common among lesbian, gay, and bisexual youths. I'm so confused with identity politics these days, so I'm gonna reread that. Pregnancy is more common among lesbian, gay, and bisexual youths. There's no funny
Youths.
Yeah,
so
children's, yeah.
How?
There was a New York City high school. They did the study, and the study was done by Mason University, George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually written in American Psychology, American Sexual Health publications. But yeah, they found out that bisexual, lesbian, and girls are probably twice as likely to get pregnant before a heterosexual girl.
I'm not good at math.
Or the biology, I'm still trying to figure out that. They don't seem like have the wealth to be able to do artificially.
No,
Right.
obviously
Created.
not.
Yeah.
So I guess they're probably doing it the old-fashioned way. But
That seems odd.
it does,
I
especially
can understand, like, if you play for both teams. I can get that, maybe.
right. But when you have a self-described lesbian, I mean, if you have a self-described lesbian who could possibly be in a lesbian relationship, and all of a sudden she turns up pregnant,
Right.
those two parts,
Don't equal.
the square and the square, or the square and the
Careful.
circle, or whatever, it just
Careful.
don't match up. I mean, so
Round peg in a square hole.
something like that.
Something.
Yeah, I just
Wait, actually, the round peg in a square hole would fit. But you have to go the square peg in the round hole. That will not fit.
we're going to go off on a tangent here. It'll probably lead us to another podcast. But no, I mean,
I'm just trying to
I'm not-
think of shapes. That's all I'm doing.
I know but like I said, I have read this study several times now, and I just
You got
Wi-
nothing else to do.
well, I mean, I get intrigued by
Sure.
by clickbait headlines, and sometimes I go into I dive into these headlines just to see what
Yeah.
But these are because what? Look, I am pro LGBTQ, AAIP, and AACP plus. I mean, I could care
That's a
less.
lot
I
of
mean,
letters.
yeah, that doesn't bother me. That people's individual private relationships and what they identify, I could care less. Doesn't bother me. But as someone who I have a daughter in high school now, but also last year in middle school, there was, just so much banners and stuff in the guidance counselor's office. This is a safe space. We recognize all 83 genders and, whatever sexual preference that the schools have this up. This is stuff that's not known or not, that would never been in my high school, but seeing this, so this is something identity politics has entered school and has been being pushed where, we have to, the kids need to learn how to use the proper pronouns and don't say these sizzle words because you could offend someone. And all of a sudden the study comes out and we find out that maybe some of the people that identify maybe not exactly carrying the card that they claim they are. I can't wrap my head around this.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's the math isn't adding up on that one. Here's another one that I've got. Satanic Temple unveils Baphomet statue in the Arkansas Capitol. So just a summary of what's going on. There was this 10 Commandments got put up in 2017, and it was sponsored by a Republican Senator Jason Rappert. He installed it quietly in 2017, and so to put up a monument in the state capitol, you have to have sponsorship. So this satanic group felt offended that there was no satanic monument, so they decided they're going to deliver their own to the Arkansas state capitol. And boy, the pictures of it looks a little rough. Like it's
the kind of goat-headed looking.
Yeah.
animal, right?
with
Or-
kids looking at it.
Oh,
It's a
really?
goat-headed figure with wings, and kids are looking at it, like idolizing this temple-looking thing. And man, it's rough. But what I think is funny on it, one, you have to say, if you're going to have the Ten Commandments, you have to also allow it, other religions to have their monuments there. But Jason Rappert, who, like I said, sponsored it, said it's going to be a cold day in hell before that offensive statue gets put on the state capitol. It will be forced to be taken down permanently. So the guy that sponsored the Ten Commandments then turns around to say, well, it's a cold day in hell before you get your thing. So I think the irony is, again, just Christians are okay if we put up the Ten Commandments, but if you put something like that up, you're going to have to allow other ones to go up too, and you can't argue with it. There was a lot of protests that were happening around there too. So I know you're a big libertarian guy. What are your thoughts on that process?
Well, as a Christian, I don't like my religion with government in it.
Yeah,
and I don't
no, I
like my
agree with
government
that.
with religion in it. So it's just like my coffee. I like it plain. I don't like anything else in it. I don't think you should have it. The Capitol grounds in Arkansas, where this is at, or courthouse grounds, is probably going to be littered now with 100 different monuments for everything that they think they need to have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand that the court in our judicial system in America is based off of, Anglo-Saxon, Judeo-Christian law and principle. I mean, Ten Commandments. I mean, the Ten Commandments kind of give us some moral fabric and foundation. I understand that, but in the height of political correctness and stuff like that, yeah, you're going to have everyone put stuff up. I mean, I can't imagine that. Now, the Baphomet, I think it's kind of silly looking. Yeah. I think it's kind of silly looking. And there's actually a sci-fi. I actually put a 3-day series movie on. It's based off of a book, and hold on a second, let me put it. Childhood. It's called Childhood's End. Anyway, they made a sci-fi movie out of this, and you'll have to watch the sci-fi movie because it actually the character is Baphomet. Oh. And it's revealed in like the last day or whatever, and it's kind of funny that they had basically had kids worshiping this character on this movie. So, But anyway, no, I segue as always I do, but I think it's silly. We're going to end up having whatever the Jehovah's Witness monument is. We're going to have that. It's probably just going to be two people knocking on a door, I guess, probably.
Ding dong.
But no, the place is going to be littered with all kinds of monuments now.
I think it's funny. Less than 24 hours after the installation of the Ten Commandments, a man drove his car into the monument, smashing it to pieces. The same man also destroyed a Ten Commandment monument outside the Oklahoma State Capitol. This guy really hates the Ten Commandments.
He's a one-person traveling show there.
Have a Ten Commandment monument? Call me. I'll take care of it.
I guess he covets.
Yeah. So I just thought that was ironic and funny. And y'all Christians, stop being so dang serious about everything.
Well, but also I find the Ten Commandments actually being on government property kind of ironic because the government usually breaks a lot of those commandments. Thou shalt not have any gods before me. Mm-hmm. Well, we as a country, if you like a country, our government is our God. You know what I'm saying? And people really worship the government. They expect the government to take care of their needs. I mean,
how many Christians are waving that Christian American flag right now?
Thou shalt not steal. Well, try not paying your taxes. You're going to have a couple of people come and forcibly make you pay your taxes. Thou shalt not covet. Well, you can't own the car without paying property tax on it. So there's a lot of things that the government's kind of guilty of with breaking the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Okay, well. We've had a couple wonderful years of that. Yeah.
So. Well, and we'll probably get some hate mail on this one, but honestly, like the Ten Commandments didn't save anybody. If you're going to put something up, it shouldn't be the Ten Commandments.
But, speaking of the Ten Commandments, but we needed that. When we were roaming around in the desert, we needed some type of
you need some guidelines.
Some guidelines on how to live, between the relationship horizontally between me and my friend to how do we interact with our God. Yeah. So I get why we have it. Sure. And it's one of the first foundations of moral law, because society needs moral law, but for it to be placed into the government as almost like the government's as following this to the T, that's not true. Yeah, it's absurd.
I don't even know why we put our hand on the Bible when we swear into court. Part of that's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's probably some superstition involved with that because probably some people when they first started doing that, they're like, "Oh, God will strike me dead if I misconstrue the truth here."
Yeah, and people still say that, if I step foot into the church, God will strike me down. Hasn't happened yet, and there's been some weird ones in church. Yeah.
And there's a lot of churches out there filled with sinners, not saints.
Yeah, it's just weird. But anyway.
And I think Christians should, a lot of times when they are advocating this kind of thing, they're not using the right language. I guess they're more in favor of a theocratic rule as long as it's their rule versus freedom of religion.
Yeah.
So, and it maybe if they're using that language, I really want a Christian nation, that's different than saying I want freedom of religion, but I only want Christianity enforced.
Yeah, and expand that more broadly. We have no problem calling ourselves a Christian nation. Mm-hmm. Well, you have the Republic of Iran. They're a theocratic nation. Mm-hmm. I mean, their law is based off Islamic law, off Sharia law. But we have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, we try to stand on our moral high box, and try to judge everyone. But sometimes we're kind of complicit in guilt too. So but take it off the grounds. It don't need to be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I agree.
Granted, it was probably, if it sponsored the monument, it's probably paid for independently, not private funds, which is okay. Mm-hmm. But go put those Ten Commandments in your yard or something, or a
Right.
private park,
Or just spend some time reading them and trying to follow them. You know, that should be good
you
enough.
definitely ain't gonna make the government do that.
You're
So,
right. All right. So one of the things that we'll segue into is part of this show is life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy. And it dawned on me that we never have actually talked about gravy. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to start a new bit where we're going to review different gravies from around our city. So we'll go ahead and start that.
Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy.
All right, so where we're going to review from today, and Sketch is kind of getting it all ready.
well, we got
for
to
this.
define what gravy is.
Okay,
because
so-
I think in the Southern context, gravy may be something different. Because
You're right,
You know how
you're right.
Anywhere above the Mason-Dixon line, they get everything wrong. I mean,
That's true.
Hey, you want to come over for a barbecue, and you're going over expecting
no,
to have
yeah.
a trough of pig picking or beef brisket. Mm-hmm. It ain't a barbecue. They're
Nope.
throwing hot dogs on the grill.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's not the correct
that's
barbecue.
not a barbecue.
And you have gravy sometimes too. I know from Italian culture they call like just their sauce.
Yeah,
like
red sauce gravy.
gravy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
I
used-
grew up in the South, and gravy was not the red sauce. So.
No.
Granted, I like Italian gravy. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean in India everything is gravy as well.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if
So
it's
we have
wet.
to define
it goes
gravy.
On. So,
yeah. So
will
southern,
you define gravy?
Southern gravy. Yeah, we have different types of gravy. Just like you
true.
have, you have your play clothes when you go to school, and then you have your dress clothes.
Okay.
You have your
Yeah.
school clothes. So, well, in the South we have the same thing. We have morning gravy, and you have two types of morning gravy.
I
you
love
have
it.
you have a white milk gravy, which is usually a milk, flour, salt, pepper, sausage, some type of fat protein sautéed in the gravy. Then you also have your red eye gravy, which is it's kind of a dying art form. To be honest
It
with
is.
you. And red eye gravy is a coffee based gravy, and it's usually used with the drippings and stuff out of a pan. But of course, you have your fancy gravy.
Oh,
Which
wait,
is,
hold on. I'm not aware of this fancy gravy.
well, you have two types of fancy gravy. Also,
What?
you have a brown gravy.
Oh, that's not fancy.
It usually goes on your mashed potatoes and some type of other starch like that. And then you have your white gravy for dinner, which is like a fried chicken or chicken fried steak, white gravy. So it's also milk-based gravy too.
Yeah.
But we in the South, we have a lot of gravies.
you are correct. I
And
didn't realize how many gravies we have. but
we also
you're
have
right.
we also have a dessert gravy.
Oh yeah, Grandma makes
Grandma-
the chocolate gravy.
Yep. So we have dessert gravy.
Sketch, you've had the chocolate
I
gravy.
have had the chocolate gravy. That was one of the first things that bonded our friendship. I think that we both knew what chocolate gravy was.
I mean,
So-
You've had Grandma's chocolate gravy.
it was,
Yeah,
it
so-
was delicious.
yeah.
So we, as a born and bred Southerner, I mean, I'm fascinated by gravy. I think you are too.
Yes.
Just because gravy makes everything better.
I
mean,
think, yeah.
I mean, I can't name a dish that gravy doesn't match up with.
I'd even put it on ice cream.
I put it on sushi.
You're right. That would. So if you had to pick your favorite type of that gravy, where are we landing on that?
I'm a big sausage gravy.
Yes.
Just because I love breakfast sausage.
Yeah.
And when you mix the two together,
It's heaven.
it's pure bliss.
Sketch, what about you? Where are you falling in on the gravy train?
I've actually been more of a fan of the brown
Oh, wow.
gravy than the white. Yeah,
I did not see that coming.
But I mean, brown gravy is great.
I like mashed potatoes and
mashed
stuff.
potatoes, but like Salisbury steak or hamburger steak, which there's all kind. I mean,
How do you make the brown gravy?
it's just brown beef base,
Okay.
or brown beef broth, and you thicken it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's just very simple. Now, a lot of people cheat and buy the cheap packets that all you do is add water and it thickens up, but that's kind of cheating, and that's
Yeah.
crappy gravy. But yeah, to make a true brown gravy, you got to get it where it's not lumpy.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my grandmother always had lumpy gravy. So,
So what we've got today is we have got some biscuit and gravy from Maple Street Biscuit. It's a brand new restaurant that just opened up down in Charlotte by the mall area. Man, guys, I'm telling you, Sketch, you went there today. We went there
Yeah,
today.
I almost wanted to jump in on the "What Burns Your Biscuits" segment and say what burns my biscuits is that we don't have a biscuit restaurant like that place down in Houston. So
Yeah.
and we actually have several biscuit biscuit only restaurants here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's over in Asheville here in North Carolina. We'll probably have it here before long, but
I hope
in
so.
Asheville started. It's called was it Fathead Biscuit or
I keep wanting to call it Cathead biscuit.
Cat?
That's what I've heard
but they
too,
do
Cathead.
Cathead Biscuit.
They do that, but it's not called that. I don't know what it is.
We also have a chain called Biscuitville, and they do a really good job.
Yeah.
There's several other biscuit
Yeah.
only chains, that do that. They do breakfast and lunch and shut down. And
Yeah.
if you want to get your biscuit gravy fixing, you ain't going to get it after 2:00. So,
Yeah. And this place mainly will have a biscuit with any kind of, like a fried chicken, a giant piece of fried chicken. And then really at that point, it's whatever else you want. They have some with fried goat cheese. They have some you had today with apple butter and
bacon and cheddar cheese,
cheese. They also do things like waffles. My wife had chicken and waffles today. French toast. They do this thing that is a French toast biscuit. I don't know how that's happening. You're putting both of those things together. That should be illegal, but they do it somehow. So this place is really fantastic. A really good coffee as well. So if you want to check them out, Google them. They started off in Jacksonville, Florida. Then they kind of migrated up, and so check them out. But we're going to talk about their gravy and biscuit today only. So we've got some here. Do you want to split it up? And then really what I'm looking for is you, the chef, break down this gravy for me.
All right.
Like what's your take on it? What are the positives, the negatives? What would you add? What would you take away? And then rate it from like a 1 to 5 biscuits. What would you give it? So,
and we're stirring up the gravy here.
yeah, I need a play-by-play.
We had to reheat it earlier.
So
I don't know if you have to grade that on a curve or.
you know what? I grade everything as cold because I prefer my food cold.
Let me know if you didn't get any sausage in your gravy.
I see it.
So what's the best gravy that you've ever had in your life? Do you know?
Probably my grandmother's.
Okay.
Or mine, I think.
That's a good. Oh, so you're a contender for the gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Best gravy you've ever had. Okay.
Because I put like 8 pounds of sausage in my gravy. So it's more of a liquid chewable, a liquid meat form.
Yeah. So one of the things, so texture wise, if we look at said gravy, I mean it's not thin. It's a good thick consistency.
You get a little bit of shine on it. Is that good or bad, in your opinion, to have a little bit of a shine on your gravy? Or is that just because it's sat here for a little bit?
Well, I'm going to give this right now off the shoot. I'm going to give it about a 2.5 to 3 star.
Oh, wow.
Well,
so you are not at all happy with this?
No, because you can tell they haven't cooked the flour out of the gravy. It kind of gives it kind of that silky, that kind of silky sweet, a little bit of chalky texture.
Okay. Oh, wow. So so you out of the 5, you're giving it 2, maybe a 3. So they did not cook the flour out of it.
No.
What else do we got going on that's wrong with it?
I like the spicy sausage in it.
Yeah.
Now, also from what I read on there, they have mushrooms in it. That's also a shiitake mushroom that they put in their gravy. So that's a little bit of a different taste and texture.
Yeah,
to
but
it.
that should add more of a what they call unami, kind of earthy flavor to it. But see, it tastes really sweet. Not like dessert sweet, but it has a little more of a sweet taste to it. So,
would you normally do the mushrooms in a morning gravy?
You can. I mean, I don't think it's going to take away from it, but I dig in the spice level though. It's something different. I mean, it's not probably for everybody, But biscuit's halfway good though. I mean, biscuit is good and buttery.
So we're going to go to the biscuit, very buttery, even being a little bit. I mean, we got it at like 11. And so it's been around a while. It's been reheated, but yeah, we've got a very buttery biscuit. The sausage and the gravy, yay or nay?
Well, I like the sausage in it.
Yeah, I mean, you like the taste of the sausage.
Yeah. I like the spice. I mean, breakfast sausage good. I mean, it goes good with everything.
It was good size. It wasn't too. Sometimes people can really crumble up their sausage where it's just little bitty bits. This you get a good bite of sausage in your gravy.
Yeah,
so I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fast food chain we haven't tried yet, but I'm sure we'll have it on the gravy segment, and I think their gravy's probably better.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not Hardee's, is it?
No, but no. I mean, I dig what they're trying here. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying. I mean, obviously, this restaurant they charge a few more bucks than a normal breakfast place, so they're adding some extra flair to the stuff to kind of get that extra price point up because they got to pay the rent. So I understand that, but
your full like biscuit sandwich looked like they were about $9. I think.
yeah,
were the
and
things.
they put a lot of food on.
Yeah,
it too.
like you said, there was a big chunk of chicken on it.
Good fried chicken.
Yeah. So it's not like it's not like you're getting the two sausage biscuits for $1.25, but you're actually paying $9 for one. It's not like you're doing that,
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, my taste, I like the spice level. The gravy's a little chalky, which just means the flour probably wouldn't cook long enough in it. That's it. So, but overall, I mean, it's 2.5 to 3 stars.
Okay. Sketch, what would you give it if you had to?
I would say a 3. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, their name implies that they're really good at the biscuits. The gravy's not their main star.
Right.
I don't know if you could have a full franchise that's only gravy.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah,
we got 5 different types of gravy.
Right.
There's probably more.
Y'all.
Actually, if you had the Indian and the Italian, we could have
yeah.
infinite levels
Y'all,
of gravy.
We're going to call it Gravy Town. Gravy trade.
What you have to do? You'll have to dye your hair and spike it.
Oh,
and you'll have to use the hashtag GravyTown.
I have to get my sunglasses and wear them on the back of my
your
head.
Yeah.
You're
Upside down.
I'm the mayor of GravyTown.
Yeah, so I like it. I'm with you. It's like a 3. I've had better, but overall, I mean, it's a good place to get it. I probably, if I'm going to go there, I'll tell you, I'll get something besides the biscuit and gravy. There's so many other options, but overall, I mean, it's a good spot. I love all the other food. Probably a miss on the gravy, but a hit on the biscuit.
Yeah, I think one thing I do like about this franchise, or this company, they have like the tea bar, they have the coffee bar, you can get cold brew if you want it. You can get, I do like that. I mean, it's kind of a unique thing for a place, but
we noticed too their seating was very community focused. So you can find 1 or 2 4 tops, but usually it's a big table, and I think they're trying to encourage community, people actually talking to each other, putting their phones down, getting to know your neighbor, that kind of thing, which is kind of neat.
The other thing that they do is like when you put in your order, they'll ask you a question of the week or a question of the month. Today's was, if you could be anybody, living or dead, who would you be for 30 days? I chose Superman.
There is some pressure when you're up there at the order stand.
There is, yes.
So it's like, what answer do I give? Da, da, da. So
we heard several. We heard one Jesus. We heard a couple Beyoncés, a couple of Michelle Obamas, and then out of the depths, we heard a Winona Ryder.
Right.
Like, where in the world did
some
that come
obscure.
from?
I don't know.
And I'm kicking myself because I did not say Will Smith, which, if I had to pick Will Smith over Superman, we did hear some Will Smiths. I was like, man, I should have picked
I think I would have done Elvis.
Oh, yeah. In this prime.
Yeah.
We also said, too, that
Not fat
Not
Elvis.
fat.
I'm talking about return Elvis, like, a return tour Elvis. Leather clad Elvis.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So, well, we hope that you enjoyed the biscuits review, the gravy review.
If you have some unique gravies in your region, please let us know.
Boy, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we might have to do a gravy train tour.
That would be. We'll do the bourbon tour and the gravy tour.
Yeah.
And invite me back when we do the chocolate gravy review. So
awesome. Yeah, we will. So I hope, Tori, I'm sure you're listening to this episode. I hope this made you miss home and wanted to come back for some gravy. So
That's right.
All right. Well, let's review some gravy.
We'll be gravy. Mind your own biscuits and life. We'll be gravy.
All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some Dear Mojo. Oh, boy. That'll be fun. Hey guys, it's me, Big Ain't. Summer is made for grilling and chilling, and you too can be the baddest mother smoker on the block using our favorite award-winning smoking sauce. Bad Mother Smokers is perfect match for that favorite meat, veggies, or even that secret ingredient in a pot of chili. Check out badmothersmokers.com to place your order, and if you want to be a barbecue pit master like Mojo, enter the promo code MOJO for 10% off your order. Visit badmothersmokers.com or the sponsor section of our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com.
Dear Abby, my feet are too long. My hair's falling out and my rights are all wrong. My friends, they all tell me that I've no friends at all. Won't you write me a letter? Won't you give me a call? Sign, Bewildered.
Oh, wow. Well, that ended quickly. I did not expect that. Dear Mojo, I'm average fitness-wise, and I work in an office. My girlfriend, who is naturally athletic, has belonged to a gym for a year. Our two fitness paths collided when I was enjoying a coffee with her and her training partner, quote-unquote Trixie, well, that's suspicious, at her place one day. Trixie made a muscle. When I complimented her on her impressive arm definition, she responded, I should see my girlfriend's. Again, suspicious. When my girlfriend flexed, her bicep popped so high that my eyes bulged. Hello. Trixie then prodded me to flex. I didn't want to because I knew that my muscle wasn't developed. Trixie felt both of our arms and declared mine softer. Hello. And then she pushed us then to arm wrestle. I'm 3 inches taller than my girlfriend, and I'm a man, so I thought I would win. Anyway, 2 times on the right and once on the left, I ended up with the back of my hands securely pinned down on the table to their extreme amusement. I felt embarrassed because there was nothing I could do to stop her stronger arms driving me down. The upshot is, wow, this is long. The upshot is I feel that there's been a power shift in our relationship. My girlfriend is now teasingly flexing when she wants something. She also enjoys challenging me in public. I now have been defeated in arm wrestling in front of her parents and other group of cheering girlfriends. How should I adjust? Must I just accept her superior strength or tell her to tone it down, showing off her biceps, or should I get stronger at the gym? Out-muscled in Australia.
There's always Fortnite.
Wow. So bottom line, his girlfriend is beating him in arm wrestling, and she's enjoying it.
Well, the big thing is we should be asking the girlfriend, do you actually have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? I think you might need to look for a man, I guess. I mean, because I'm going to be misogynist and sexist, but we have this kind of cultural shift happening now where, traditional roles, and this traditional role is not like it's only happened for the last 50 years where a man provides and a woman, is there along the way. This is something that's happened probably for 250,000 years since men and women have been cohabitating in a culture and in a communal setting. So obviously this guy probably either needs to find a weaker girlfriend or maybe get a Planet Fitness gym or something equivalent to that in the Aussie Outback, and just
By the time it took him to write that entire thing, I feel like he could have gone to the gym.
He could have gotten some
times.
reps in, I think.
he could have had a CrossFit section, CrossFit out.
I think I figured out why he's not so strong. He's just typing the whole time.
Well, he's probably, like I said, he's probably playing Fortnite on his computers.
By the way, have you played Fortnite?
No, I've never have.
So we actually just played it. You played it for the first time.
Yeah, my
today.
first time today. So
I've played it. This is my second time playing. It's actually quite fun. I think I like it.
it's not bad. So especially for a free game, it's fun.
Well, there's people that do it for a living now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'll never be that good, so I guess I'll just put my skill somewhere else.
Well, and I said this to Sketch. I said, listen, I was concerned about the future generation, but the way that they play Fortnite and how quick they can make things happen, I think I'm okay with them. I think they can do it.
Yeah.
So,
and after you lose, you get to watch the person that killed you continue in the game. So you actually pick up some strategy.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just be a lot faster than the other guys.
Yeah.
Really
No
kind of how it is.
No doubt.
I'm still still trying to build something, and then I get shot. I'm like, I'm just trying to learn how to do this thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
There's no mercy. There's no crying in Fortnite.
Dear Mojo, I tend to react poorly when someone pulls a prank on me. My reaction is usually anger, hurt, or embarrassment, and I end up saying or doing things I later regret because my emotion took over. My husband has always liked playing pranks, and my children have started to follow his lead. The pranks tend to be something like ice down the back of my shirt, bopping the end of my glass bottle while drinking so it splashes in my face, or snapping wet towels. I don't like it, and I never do it to them. If I react, I am made out to be the bad guy because I can't take a joke. I feel guilty about the latest incident because my 10-year-old girl bopped my drink in my face, and I slapped her across the face. That escalated really quickly. When I apologized for responding the way I did, she said, "Dad does it all the time." I never get an apology from the pranksters. Is this normal? Are there others out there who don't like being the object of pranks? And how do I get my family to understand that being the subject of these jokes just isn't funny? Amused in Indiana.
I'm going to go ahead and diagnose you as butthurt. Yeah.
Boy, these are just coming out today, aren't they?
Yeah.
This is what happens when you record on a Saturday.
I have no sympathy for people like this. The best offense or best defense is to get involved with these. Start throwing pranks on your own.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be a good option.
Or be self-deprecating. You take it in great humor because obviously they're probably keep doing it for your absurd reactions.
Right.
You know, I mean, just go along with it. Have fun. These are memories you're making with your kids. Obviously, the memory of having 5 outstretched fingers coming at your face is probably not a great memory for this child. So maybe try doing something a little different. Obviously, this person probably has some inner turmoil from her childhood to where she doesn't like being pranked. So
the fact that she slapped her 10-year-old across the face, I think that was a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm just complaining a little bit about, I don't know if I call those pranks. Those are kind of teases, but when I hear pranks, I'm thinking Punk'd. I'm thinking Sacha Baron Cohen. You know, I want a little more organization and development into a storyline about what this prank is. This is just kind of slapstick humor, sounds like.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I guess she doesn't like being the object. She probably feels being teamed up on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But still, though, I mean, come on, get with the program. I'm sure you could probably organize with your now slapped across the face daughter to pull a prank on your husband. I'm sure you probably could organize a prank with your husband on the daughter and get involved with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you took it a little bit too far, though. I mean, slapping your kid.
Yeah, plot twist.
Did not see that coming. And if the 10-year-old still continues to do that after being slapped, then maybe the 10-year-old's got a problem.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, the 10-year-old probably will now be 23 years old, and her boyfriend will probably play a prank on her, and she's probably going to react poorly because the one incident.
Lady. All right. Dear Mojo, I've never been married. I've been perceived as a playboy for many years now. I don't mean to be, but when I see the potential for a passionate romantic encounter with flowers, candy, champagne, pot, the urge takes over. I love how we escalated from that to
threw pot in there?
I never knew that pot was required for a romantic incursion.
I did not either. I was never considered hot until I turned 50. Well, that's a plot twist. And decided to get in shape. I had a hair transplant, a neck lift, and lost 25 pounds. Shouldn't I continue to enjoy this? I'm really loving it, but I have to worry about the comments about my age. I look 38. Max,
how did you come up with that number? And what metric of 38?
I look 37 and a half. Yeah. Should he be worried?
I'm 41, and I probably look like I'm 41 from World War II, after the chain smoker. But wow. It's your life, man. Do what you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing something that's probably consensual with whoever you like to date. I mean,
maybe not the law.
I don't know if he's. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe. Well, he could be in one of the 27 states now that have it. Be. So, if it's what you want, you don't want to settle down. Keep doing what you want to do. I mean, who cares what people say? I'm still wondering I'm more concerned how you came up with 38.
I look 38. I do not look 37. I do not look 39. I look 38.
Yeah. I don't.
Wow.
Yeah. Is it West Virginia 38 or North Carolina 38 or or California 38?
That is so true.
People age different.
You
So
are right.
What metric are you using?
Your West Virginia 38 looks like a California like 97, I think.
Well, of course, because California, you have algae facial treatment stations everywhere. So
Yeah.
no, but obviously,
Yeah.
God don't want to settle down. If you're
Come on.
if you be a playboy, I'm sure.
Come on, Playboy.
I'm sure there's playgirls out there that are 50 sitting there saying they look like they're 38
They're 38.
too. That are out there doing their thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for us to judge that.
There
So
you
do
go.
what you want to do.
You go, Playboy.
But also find out when you're 68 and you're alone, or you can't go back and rewrite his decision. So, but 50 and I'm just kind of curious where pot also came into the romance. I've never heard
There's so
someone.
many weird things about that one.
I want to romance a young lady with
Flowers.
chocolates,
I
flowers,
got the cologne.
some,
I got the
some sexy music,
chocolates.
and then a spleef.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
We have a roach problem around here. We're like, I don't understand that. Nothing says let's get busy like a 6-foot water bong and some cannabis.
Some lava lamp.
It's Mary Jane time.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, so that was some Dear Mojo, and now we're going to go straight into our interview with Sketch. So let me cue up some good music for him.
Here we go.
Maybe it's Weird Al.
Oh, yeah.
This is the closest I got to gangster rap.
Okay.
So, oh well. Sketch is in town. You're hanging out with me. Got away from the old H-Town, just kind of visiting the old Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm trying to convince him to move. I think the Maple Street Biscuit may have just
Pushed him over the edge.
just a little bit. But
It's definitely in the plus column.
Well, for listeners, give some history because obviously of you two, because obviously
gosh, yeah.
he's not just some guy we called up and said, "Hey,
Get on the show.
yeah."
We actually met when we were going to a church in Houston. I don't even know like how we like really connected. Like there was, we just started going to the church, and then obviously just built a relationship, and then we did a thing called Finer Things Club with a group of family in there, and then our friendship just kept going, and we never stopped. And even though we moved, like we still stayed connected.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of how it all started. But I've really been a couple things with Sketch, and I'm just gonna throw you not under the bus. I don't praise you, I guess is probably a better thing to say. But Sketch is like one of the greatest guys I've known and met. Like we've been friends for probably how long? I don't even.
It's over 10 years.
Yeah.
Something.
But dude is probably the most consistent guy I know. Probably the guy that we just joked around and called him Mr. Morals a lot. But he's always the guy that if I have a morality question, I ask Sketch, or if there's like something that I'm like,
So morality and sketch, we shouldn't hold those two things synonymous, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
So we can talk about a little bit of where he got his name. But, dude is just one of the most solid guys I know, and a guy that follows after Christ, and just a hero of mine in the faith, and just being a friend. So
thank you.
You're a good dude.
How old are you?
I am 42.
So you
had to think
look
about
like
that.
you're 38.
Yeah, thanks.
So he's a good friend. So how did you get the name Sketch?
Yes, so I started covering Christian hip hop. Let me be clear: I don't rap and I don't make beats. I've attempted those areas and found I did not have the talent for it. But I studied journalism in college, and I've been a fan of hip hop for a long time. And parents encouraged me to listen to the hip hop that kind of reflected my faith. So I was a fan for a while and started writing about it, thinking I could get free music, and I decided I need a rap pen name or something. So I picked The Journalist to define that I wasn't a rapper myself. And then Sketch, I draw cartoons and that sort of thing. And then my dad's nickname is Skitch. So I kind of did a little tribute to him and flipped it to Sketch. So Sketch the Journalist has been my pen name for many years. I don't try to hide my identity or anything, but just hip-hop, you kind of have a different name. So that's kind of where it came from. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
The little drawings that he does, I say little drawings like I'm like a dad or whatever, but like you draw really good. Like it's insane, like how he could just and just make something.
That's cool. I haven't seen one yet, so
Well, I got some paper and a pen. We can make it happen.
yeah, we'll have to do one.
literally make sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what initially kind of one of the things that is really big in your life is just the hip hop, the culture in the world, and especially with Christian hip hop. But this guy, let me just be very clear. You've got a big name in Christian hip hop. Like people know you.
And it's because I've been around for a while. But yeah. So I guess, like I said, I grew up listening to it. Some of my best friends got me into the music. I became a believer at a pretty young age. My parents encouraged that. So at the time, Christian hip hop was different. There wasn't a lot of explicit language, but my mom had driven me to a Christian bookstore, and we were looking on the shelves, and there was a cassette tape back in the day. It actually said Christian rap was the name of the song. It was a guy, Stephen Wiley, who did a song called Bible Break, and she just said, "Hey, this is something that you might like, Jason. You know, I know you like rap and that sort of stuff." So got me into it, and I just kind of enjoyed that. And you called me Mr. Moral, so I was a good straight edge kind of kid. And just continue to do that. I listen to all kinds of hip hop, but try to steer towards the music that reinforces my faith and helps my belief. And I don't like to hear all of the content that's out there necessarily. So I just continue to do that, and then it just was a way to be a part of that scene and that culture, and I saw people that were believers really express themselves through it. So I think that answers your question. I might have drifted.
No, that's fine.
Away.
So, like, what all? Because I know you've been on a radio show before, a podcast, right?
Yeah. So I did a news segment for a show called the Waito Radio Show, and they cover Christian hip hop, and I did the news for them. I've written for Relevant Magazine, the Houston Chronicle, a couple other different magazines, but it just started because, again, I wanted to. I thought I could get free music by reviewing CDs, and that artists would send me their stuff. And the internet started popping off when I was in college, and there were a couple websites that had popped up, and I just wrote to them and said, "Hey, I follow this music, and I'd like to write for you." So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door, and then just started blogging on my own. And the Houston Chronicle connection came about because I had seen that they had done a story on their website about 10 rappers you didn't know were Muslim. And it was a kind of a slideshow clickbait type of thing. But I went through, and there was a guy named Chameleonaire who's from Houston, and a friend of mine had interviewed him before about his faith, and we knew that one of his parents was Muslim, one of them was Christian. So I found out who wrote this story and wrote an email. Was very polite, but just said, "Hey, where did you get your information? I've heard a little different story." And that person wrote back, said, "Hey, thanks for letting me know." And then I knew I had a contact at the Houston Chronicle, and I thought, well, this person likes, obviously writes about hip hop, writes about faith. So I just would pitch her some stories every now and then that had to do with our local area. And she had a blog, and she would occasionally take those stories and put those in her blog.
Nice.
And then I think she saw that I was a good source of information, and they started opening up their blog platform to people of all kinds of different faiths, and said, "Hey, would you like to blog for the Houston Chronicle?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love it." So it wasn't anything that I got paid for. I've never made this my main source of income. It's just been a passion project of mine. So I started blogging for them, and then got the opportunity to do a couple freelance pieces that were in the print edition. And I think that's just kind of how the freelance game works, is you just kind of build your portfolio and reach out and try to find the next thing and the next thing and that sort of thing. So
nice.
Yeah.
So talk about like Christian hip hop. When I think of Christian hip hop, this is how bad it is. Like I think back to like DC Talk and
Grits.
and Grits. Yeah, Grits. Oh man, I did love me some Grits. But how has that changed from then and to now, I guess?
Yeah, it's definitely grown. When I first got into it, I had heard about DC Talk, but I didn't. There was a segment of us that didn't really consider them part of Christian rap.
Which you shouldn't, by the way.
They were kind of like the Nashville sound, a little more of a pop style.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of variety in it. It doesn't necessarily. I guess it depends on how you define it too. I tend to interview and be interested in Christians who are doing hip hop, whether they're very explicit about their faith in their music and use it as an evangelistic tool, or if they are just believers trying to make this type of music and have it reflect their lifestyle. So some people are very rigid and would define Christian hip hop by the guys that are, like I said, trying to be evangelistic with it. I look at it more broadly. But the sound, you can have kind of a gangster style, you can have kind of a backpack lyrical style, you can have a very pop friendly radio style. There's been pockets, I guess, across the country that have had bigger, better scenes. Tampa, Florida's been a hub. Houston has been a really big hub. LA had a really big scene. So that's gone across. But even now you see guys that have crossed over and gotten a lot more mainstream attention. So the biggest name in Christian hip-hop is probably Lecrae. So he had a #1 overall Billboard album last year. He's performed on Jimmy Fallon several times. NF is another guy who's come out of that scene, who's kind of crossed over into the pop area.
Just to be clear, you said NF.
NF.
Okay, all right.
His
Just
name
making
is,
sure.
His name is Nate Ferguson.
Okay.
So he goes by
Might
NF.
want to think about changing that, just FYI.
But I guess a shift that you've seen is some of those guys, whether to get that mainstream success or not, they've kind of toned back some of their evangelistic lyrics and stuff. Some people see that as a sellout move or that sort of thing. Other guys say, hey, go do what you need to do, live your life off stage, impact people that way versus preaching from the crowd. But both NF and Lecrae are what they, I guess, call or would define themselves as rappers who are Christian versus Christian rappers. And that's kind of been a long-standing divide and debate and discussion, I guess, throughout the music. I don't know if we've settled on one way is better than the other, but
I think a rapper who's Christian is probably better than a Christian rapper, because you don't necessarily have to be a Christian to be a Christian rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you could just be someone who's not going to be great to the masses, who all of a sudden can write really well or rap towards that audience. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and Christian rap can be a marketing term in a lot of ways. And like you said, you don't even have to be a Christian, I guess, to make Christian rap. And I guess the lines kind of get blurred sometimes. So Kanye West has called himself a Christian and said his last album before this most recent one, The Life of Pablo, was a gospel album. Chance the Rapper is a vocal Christian, but both of those guys curse in their music, talk about women in ways that other Christians may not. So sometimes that blurs the lines. But yeah, people in back of the day used to think that Kirk Franklin was Christian rap, or DC Talk was Christian rap, or Carmen, if you know Christian music industry. I think he won like a Dove Award in the rap category at one point, which is quite absurd. But you mentioned Grits. They had some big success. I really like them. They were a Southern group, as their name kind of implies. They were from Tennessee. They were actually backup dancers for DC Talk before they started rapping on their own. Yeah,
Did not know that.
So
I just remember I tried to get into Christian rap because, you know, you go to that church camp, you come back and burn all your secular music, and then you try to reach out and get some quote-unquote Christian music from the bookstore. So you gravitate towards groups like that. It's a little less cheesy than the some of the Christian rap music.
Right.
A lot of it, I'll be honest with you, the only problems I have with Christian music, I don't listen to it today just because a lot of it's cheesy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like really stinking cheesy. I mean,
yeah,
like,
and we have that in our scene for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's rap or sing about Psalms 13.
Right.
Oh, come on, I'd rather hit my head with a board. You know, I mean, you can have a great message and be a great writer without having to, you know, use this. Just like country music, always modern pop country music is made fun of because if you have a pickup truck, a dog, a drinking problem, Saturday night, girls by the river, you can write a song and have a hit. Same thing with Christian. Jesus, 3 nails, cross, grace, you know, water, some type of weather theme.
Some type of weather theme.
Storms, ocean. You can have a hit song.
Yeah.
You know? So,
but I guess I would say, too, I've seen the scene grow, and sometimes you have to dig to find the good artists, you know. But for a long time, it was kind of relegated as youth group music, and that's all it was focused for. But as a lot of the artists have grown and matured, and now they have families and lives, thankfully, a lot of their music and lyrics have matured. So they're not necessarily just rapping Psalms 13, but they're writing stories about social issues or drug problems in the world or the way that they love their family and are growing up. So you can definitely find that. And I guess not all Christian rap is necessarily safe for younger listeners. I mean, especially if your guy's talking about his reality or his past as a drug dealer or whatever, that may not be good for younger listeners. And a lot of times people think Christian music is just safe music, and that's not necessarily the truth. So one example that I had recently, there was a song that I recommended to some people in my small church group, and they said, "Hey, their kids may like this." And then I went back and realized, like, the song, the guy talks about, "Lord, forgive me for my fornication," or something like that, and I was like. And I knew these people had young kids that were like 5 or 6, and I was like, well, maybe you don't want to explain what fornication is at that age or something. So, but I'm glad that there's a diversity within the scene, even though outsiders may immediately, have one image of what the Christian rap or rap made by Christians is like.
So you're saying that there actually is some legitimate good Christian music, Christian rap music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who are some bands that you really like? You mentioned Lecrae. Like I think you like.
Yeah, I think Lecrae is really good, and his last album was a trap album, which is a big sound out of Atlanta. He actually did it with a producer who's produced for Migos and Future. His name's Zaytoven, so that's pretty good. Derek Minor just released another trap album that I like. It's called The Trap, but I also like. Deep Space 5 for like really lyrical kind of guys. They just released like a whole like just beat tape, so it's just music and hip hop music and samples that are put together. Taylor Gray is another guy. He's actually a pastor in Ohio. He has, I guess, kind of a Drake-ish sound. But there and Shai Linne, if you want some really lyrical theology stuff, he's a very good, well-known name in that area. So definitely dig. But the accessibility to it, I think, is one thing that's changed too. I told you my first introduction. My mom had to drive me to a Christian bookstore. I had to buy a cassette tape. Hope you never hearing it before. I had to literally buy tons of albums just off the cover art alone. They were well overpriced. So at a Christian bookstore, they were $15 for an album.
$22.99, I think, is what I paid for.
Oh my gosh!
And now today, I mean, you've got an Apple Music or a Spotify subscription, and you can listen to whoever you want, and they suggest other people. That can lead you in some bad directions, but I think it can help you discover a ton of different artists. If you don't like them, you don't have to listen to them.
I was listening to Lecrae, and all of a sudden, I'm listening to a rapper about Baphomet.
Yeah. So kids today are a generation, or anybody that wants to get into that today has it much easier than they did when I first started. And that's one reason I wanted to get into writing about it, was to promote this kind of music, because it was hard to find. You didn't know if you were buying an album if it was actually even any good. So I was attracted to one writer from one magazine who actually gave some real criticisms. That was the name of his column, and he would actually tell you, like, no, this isn't worth your money. And I'm not giving them the rubber stamp just because they're a believer, like bad music is bad music, good music is good music. So
they always had one song out of 16. You know what I'm saying? You'd pay the $22.99 for the one song, and then the rest of the 15 were just crap.
It's definitely changed a whole lot. So I think, even just in your albums, you're getting more and more decent songs in one album.
The shame on the Christian radio networks on terrestrial radio, because these guys have an opportunity to expose. And granted, I know a lot of these Christian radios are listener subscriber donation, because they don't have a ton of like, hey, come down to. We're sponsored by Blue Apron today, or whatever. Right. I mean, they get their listeners fund them. I understand that, but it'd be kind of nice for them to kind of promote some of that stuff, to their audience, even if it's like a block of hour on a Friday night or something like that. For
in Houston, we're blessed. So we have a very large Christian radio station, KSBJ, but they've also have a sister station called Engine Radio. And for a while, they were internet only, but they're on over the air now, and they are hip hop and pop, mostly hip hop, and they've got some legitimate hip-hop people from the Christian hip-hop scene that are the program directors and that are the DJs, and they play this kind of stuff. So if you're in the Houston metro area, over the air, you can listen to Lecrae on your radio. You can listen to Taylor Gray, Misfits, Social Club Misfits, that sort of thing. So we're blessed. So I think Orlando has a similar kind of station, but Houston's kind of unique in that, and it's been a good move for us. So
can you find that station online?
Yeah, they've got an app. So NGen, the letter N, GEN for like the N generation, 91.7 I think it is.
Nice.
So, but they've got an app, and they
probably wonder if it's probably on like TuneIn or
I think so.
Or something like that.
Yeah, nice. They've got their own app. So
very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah. What about like and I don't want to sound horrible on this, but like the lifestyle, like you think like country music, and you're like, oh, there, God, Jesus, Bible, shoot the flag, or shoot your guns and praise the flag.
Whiskey on Saturday and Jesus on Sunday.
Yeah. So that's kind of already integrated within like country Christian and non-Christian music, but like hip hop, like the lifestyle is totally different from one than to the other. Yeah. So like, is that really difficult for the artists to try to like still be in that lifestyle, that the genre, but have a completely different lifestyle? That
I think so. It depends on kind of where you're booked and where you do shows. Obviously, if you're being booked at a church, your backstage environment is a lot different than if you're at a club or if you're on a festival tour or something. Mm-hmm. But I think Lecrae has spoken to that. He wrote a book called Unashamed last year that's kind of his autobiography, and he talked about being backstage at the Grammys, and he's won a couple Grammys actually in the gospel category, but he's been on the mainstream tours and stuff. And I think there have been times where he's been at parties where there's drugs and women, and he has to excuse himself from those situations or make sure that his faith and his willpower is strong enough to deny himself those opportunities that are maybe very prevalent in some of those scenes. Yeah. And I guess also not to say not every rapper, the image that they portray on stage doesn't necessarily translate to what they do off stage. So you may see a guy who in his music and videos is very flashy and women and cars and stuff, but backstage he may be a very fine, upstanding family man, and that's a character he portrays. And I think we would say that's a poor choice and has negative connotations. But just to say, not everything that you see represented on TV and music is really how these guys are backstage. So I think I've heard some of that too. Lecrae talked about some of these guys. 2 Chainz is college educated and can speak very highly and very well. And I've seen several of these guys. I've had the opportunity to talk to people like Bun B, who's from the group UGK and is a Southern gangster rapper, but he also taught a hip hop and religion class at Rice University. And when I interviewed him, he talked about his wife and he's a grandfather and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I got a different image of him than what you may see in music videos. And David Banner's another guy, and Talib Kweli. So there's some guys that don't necessarily live that lifestyle probably off stage than they do. But if you're a believer walking into those situations, I think it can be concerning, and hopefully you have a strong enough faith and walk that you can walk in some of the situations, or know that you shouldn't walk in those situations if you're still tempted by those type of things. Maybe if you just got saved and you were in the strip club every night, maybe you don't want to do that kind of ministry, right. or something like that. So, so I hope that I think that answers your question. So.
Yeah. Who's the kind of your best like unknown Christian rapper right now? Like that's just under the radar, but man, they're so good. Yeah.
A guy by the name of Crumb, Krum.
I feel like crumb cake.
He used to go by the name Play-Doh, and he's been around for a long time. But I just really love his music, and he doesn't get the big recognition, the record sales. He's a dude out of Dallas, Texas, white guy, but has a very soulful sound. One of his albums, he sampled a bunch of black gospel. He always has very bluesy stuff. I really like his approach to it. He doesn't hit you over the head with the Bible, but his last album was called Blue Eyed Devil, and that's kind of a catchy title, but he really reflected, hey, as a white man who's a blue-eyed, I look at the sin inside my own self and how I live out and how I need to change and the things that I battle. So that's really what his album was about. But he had a song about he's been married and divorced and back in the dating scene, and then wrote a kind of a humorous song about what that looked like and trying to pick up a girl, and met her dad, and he found he was a rapper and asked him to rap, and they kind of laughed at him and that sort of stuff. But Crumb is a guy who I really like. He comes out of the Deep Space Five group that I talked about that was kind of a collective of guys. So if somebody that you want to go try to discover, I would look him up.
Cool.
So
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm really like, I don't listen to a lot of music. Like people will laugh at me, but like I'm usually just like listening to talk radio or something like that.
I listen to a lot of talk radio and podcasts, but the music I do listen to, it changes. Like the music I grew up to, I still listen to that occasionally, but it just morphs. It just depends on the mood I'm into.
Guilty pleasure song, go.
Oh man, Prison Bound by Social Distortion, but that's like a guilty pleasure. Kelly Clarkson, one of Kelly Clarkson's songs, and Toxic by Britney Spears.
Oh, that's right. What about you?
I can't think of the title off the head, but I guess I'll be man enough to admit I have bought tickets to go see Taylor Swift next month. So.
Well, my wife just took my daughter to Taylor Swift, so I happen to know probably the words off the first three Taylor
They went to
Swift
New
albums.
York to go to watch her. So
Oh, wow.
that's a
I'm
crazy
still
trip.
recovering from that.
Emotionally and
go
financially.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm a sucker for Mbop. God bless, I love that song.
As far as musicians, I tell you, the one thing that drives me nuts is during these award ceremonies, and they win an award. And this is all genres. of music.
Every one of them.
This ain't just rap. But they get up and first and foremost, I want to thank God
Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
and making my CD Titty Titty Bang Bang number one.
Right.
I mean, I can't stand that. That drives me nuts.
Yes. Yeah.
It just.
Yeah.
You don't have
you.
to do that.
I got you.
Yeah, like I said, I've worked with a friend on a documentary that we tried to talk to a lot of mainstream rappers about that, and we kind of focused on that. I think some of it, and particularly in the South, a lot of guys have been raised in church and feel like that's the expected thing to do or appropriate thing to do.
Sure.
But yeah, the rest of the music in the album doesn't necessarily reflect that.
Or
Or
their lifestyle too. I mean, because with the advent of the internet and TMZ and all these other gossip rags, you can see that maybe these guys aren't necessarily what they are. But talking about maybe the music and the character is not necessarily what they are in the personal life. It's kind of ironic because I think the rock and roll lifestyle probably is true to form, though. A lot of guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because they're expected to, women, drugs, and alcohol is kind of their forte in the industry. So it's kind of interesting to see that maybe the rap genre doesn't necessarily cater to all that. There's probably some guys that do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
But there's probably a few that you would not expect.
Yeah. Like it's hard to disconnect the character from the person.
Right.
Like even what was that comedian that was like Larry the Cable Guy?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't talk like that. He's just a normal
He's
guy.
from Nebraska.
Yeah, like, he doesn't
Right.
at all talk like that. And so, like, they did an interview. I'm like, that's not him.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, it's just the character that he plays. But nailed it.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Dude, Sketch, thank you so much for coming.
thank you.
If somebody wants to connect with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, on all social media, I'm at Sketch the J, so you don't have to worry about trying to spell journalist. It's just shorter. But my website is I Talk to Rappers, so I thought that was descriptive of what I do and
Pretty
what
to the point.
what I do and what I don't do. But yeah, I liked it because, like I said, I've had an opportunity to talk to a couple mainstream guys, and some people may think, oh, as the Christian, I'm going to come in there and try to yell at them or tell them that their music is wrong. But really, the ones that I've had the opportunity to do that, I just wanted to talk to them about their faith and what matters. And I found that they are actually like very interested in being able to talk about that kind of thing. The rest of their life may not reflect that, but they often don't get those questions about their, what they really believe and how they live off stage. And so, I talk to rappers.com or at Sketch the J. You can find me and see what's up.
Nice. Last question, who's the most famous person you have in your phone right now?
Malice or Farnsworth Bentley, I think. So.
Oh, wow. Farnsworth Bentley.
Malice from the Clips and Farnsworth Bentley, most well known for carrying the umbrella for P. Diddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in Kanye videos and Outkast videos and is close with those guys. And he's a believer and recorded a clean album. I guess it could be a Christian album. I've had a chance to interview him a couple times. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our episode of Southern Fried Philosophy.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Please go to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Subscribe, give us a like, a review, share your favorite episodes. Check us out on the Facebooks at Southern Fried Philosophy. You can find us at the Twitters and Instagram at SFP Radio, youtube.com/SFP Radio, Patreon at patreon.com/SFP Radio.
I'm noticing a theme.
What's that?
SFP Radio.
When in doubt, SFP Radio.
And as always, keep looking up.